Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Flint Creek Transport. My name is Justin. Kind of a continuation of the last video. Oh, I wonder if he's backing in. I was gonna shut the door for him. All right, so we're gonna talk a little bit about this truck. This truck, the big blue Peterbilt, the first ever 389 Peterbilt day cab. The first experience with a day cab Peterbilt. I don't know what you want to call it. So far. So actually it's not that bad. You know, let me tell you something. I could get frustrated. I could be upset at the dealer. I'm not one of those guys. I am not one of those guys to blame things on the dealer. Obviously, I didn't do my looking good enough, and also the dealer did know some things about this truck that I don't think they told me. I don't know, maybe they didn't, but they were the ones that were able to have it in a nice warm shop. And when you get it in a nice warm shop, it's a lot easier to be able to look over everything, and you can crawl right in there. And yeah, it's much easier to check things out. Not only that, the salt and junk that was on it, and dust when I was out there, some of these things are very, very hard to see. In the Bible it says, a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches. It's a little bit how I feel. I'd rather have a good name. I could jump up and down and scream and yell and you know, get the dealer on the phone and on. And you know what? I gotta look at the end of the day, I got this truck for a good price. I offered what I thought was a very fair price for the truck. I'd like to start low, and the dealer accepted it. So I don't know if it's exactly my bottom dollar, but it was very close. I think they wanted the truck gone. I got the truck at the point where I knew this truck needed some work, but it requires a little more work than what I was expecting, which at the end of the day, this is the most important thing. At the end of the day, it's still fine because I'm still in a good truck at a good price. The work that we have to do to this truck, it's gonna be in here a little bit longer. If you remember when I was out there, I said that, you know, the thing's sitting a little, you know, whatever. I think it was the driver's side that was maybe sitting a little bit high, no, sitting low, whatever it was. I figured that it's probably gonna be springs or there's something up there that is not right. Let me back up. I know a lot of you guys are saying, oh, this truck's been rolled, this truck's been wrecked. And I've thought about that. I don't think it has been, because we have the same issues. We have a 2019 Peterbilt 389 sleeper truck that we bought brand new. It was a glider, right? And that still had issues with the door. Okay, it was even very close to the same color. All right, that has nothing to do with it, but literally same issues. So we have other Peterbilts with the same issues, and it's never been rolled. It's never been twisted, whatever. So that didn't scare me. The little cosmetics inside did not scare me. You know, you can look at a truck and you can see, you know, by the way the floor is, like I could tell that this truck, even though it was from the South, it still was a grain or some type of a feed hauler or something like that because of the floor. You look at the floor, it's clean, but see these bolts in here? These bolts are rusty, and on the other side you can see it's a little bit, you know, the bolts are rusty and a little bit nastier, and that tells me that there's probably like grain or whatever. It corrodes a lot of that stuff out. Otherwise though, I mean, like it's fairly tight. So it's one of those things that you can tell that it's not a northern truck, but it also has been in some type of feed or grain or farm industry. Back to the front end and being wrecked, like right up here you can see the paint like has been coming off. So I knew that this panel was replaced, and over here this panel, it had a nick in it. And the guy had sent me a video, and I was pretty sure that that nick was on the driver's side, so that confused me a little bit. But I think looking at this panel got replaced, and the top panel also got replaced. Here you can't see it as well, but if you look really close, you can see some orange peel and stuff like that. Like someone did a paint job that wasn't the most exotic. It was in some type of a accident or rollover. Now, was it bad? I think I know what happened. I don't think the truck was laying on its side. I mean, there's some dents, but usually you get the whole side of the truck. You know, it really slams the cab of the truck down. And I don't, like, it's not twisted that bad. So the front end of this truck, we're doing springs, right? The hood's not up, but if you look under there, you can see the new springs are in. And that already made this truck sit level. So just one of those small things that we're doing that most guys, and you would have thought they would have known that if you replace, you can't just replace one spring, you got to replace both, is what it is, right? So we replace both, and we're sitting a lot more level. Now here in the back end, this is where it gets a little bit sketchy. So if you look at this plate back here, right, this plate, that cross member is cracked, and you can see it right there. So that is a cross member that we actually have in stock. I got probably 3 or 4 of them up there. It's something that happens to a bunch of our trucks. I don't know if this one's been replaced. I think, yeah, this one's been replaced. We've had others that have been replaced. That's not a huge deal. This, if you remember, this had one of those, oh, let me see if I can find. Hey, Trevor, where's the steel that came off this fifth wheel?
It's right underneath in front of us.
Oh, over here. Thank you. So this had these nasty looking cut off, whatever. This was right along the side, right along the edge, and I knew, like, I wanted to take that off anyway. So replacing these cross members is not that big of a deal. We can get that done. But when I didn't see this till I got back, Trevor's standing over here, I'm standing back here, and I'm looking, and you can see an issue on both sides, right? Now, still can't see it. It is so faint, so faint. And actually, I wish the wishbone was still in, but I'm gonna put the camera down right there. That's more than just paint cracking, okay? That's what I thought maybe it was, but the frame is actually broken. And when I was looking at this truck, one of the things that, you know, usually when you have something like this that goes wrong, the guys will fix it up right. And one of the things that you can also look at, though, is a lot of these rivets are still in. So when you have frame issues or when there's stuff going on, the guys will often replace these with regular bolts looking like this, right? You know, here they put fenders on, and that's fine. That's typical. That's normal. But when you see rivets, you know that a lot of this is factory. So just looking down through here, you can see, you know what, there's a lot of factory bolts in here. So no big deal, right? This, you know, I'm looking at, it just seems like, you know, the paint's cracked or whatever, no big deal. Well, guess what? It's a little bit more than that. Now I'm looking every piece over. But anyway, it's simply, that frame is broke. So this piece got to come out, and it's on both sides. So I saw the one side, and Trevor, I think, saw the other side. So you have to look really, really close. And while we're replacing this piece, we're going to be replacing, we're going to be actually doing some welding. We're going to grind that out and weld it. So I don't know if I ever shown you guys videos of the dump trailer that we had flip, but basically what it did is it was a frame style dump, and it simply just, the truck stayed straight, or the truck was just twisted, but the dump went over. And I think that's what happened here, is the frame just got twisted really bad. The dump trailer laid over, or whatever he was pulling laid over, and it twisted. So twisted these right here, except it would have been over there, and it pushed the frame in and out. So actually, yeah, right in there. So both sides, and I think that's what it pushed it out. That's why we have the crack in the frame. Otherwise, going through the truck, everything else looks pretty good. I'm gonna have one of the guys are gonna be doing some welding, gonna be grinding that out, cleaning it up, getting it fixed back up. One of those things, it's not an expensive fix, but it's stuff that makes you scratch your head and be like, why wasn't it fixed right? Some of the things with this one is this suspension. So this is back a little bit further. You know, when all that happened, it moved, it tweaked some of these things. So the suspension's back a little bit further. Some of the things are, it just needs to be aligned, really. A lot of these U-bolts are going to come off. We're going to put new ones on and get this thing squared up, trued up. There was a broken, let me show you. So, and this was something else too that I looked at out there, and I showed you guys. They did a half decent job welding that axle up, and I don't know if you can see that weld there, but right here they welded that plate on there, and they did a half decent job on that. I'm gonna leave that for now, but I did get pricing on some axles, axle housing, so we have an option if we need to get a new housing put in there, and actually for very reasonable. So that's, I called Trevor when I was out there, and I'm like, hey, what's our options here? And so he checked around a little bit. So I did get this truck for a good price, but we are putting a little bit of money into it. The hood and all that, we're going to try to paint back up. I'm guessing that this hood incident was probably something totally different, or it could have maybe just, the hood, when it twisted, the hood could have popped off and twisted. I'm not sure. Guys are starting to take tires off already this morning. Inside though, this truck is pretty solid. We can fix some of this stuff up. There's a lot of little stuff that we can do cosmetically. I'm not too worried. Stuff like this we can fix. It's not going to keep the truck from going down the road. So some of the things that are left yet we are working on up here is swapping out the tanks. This one tank, or actually both tanks, are coming off, and we're putting on a tank that we had taken off of Peterbilt that we bought. So the black truck that we got in, the tank is coming off there, the passenger side tank, I think, and then it's coming over here, and then we're gonna get a matching tank. We're gonna buy a new tank that's split already and put it in here for the other side. Those tanks that were on it were a little bit small, a little bit too small to split the one. It wasn't quite worth it. Wet line's got to get put on here, and that's pretty much the extent. There's obviously little things. They're going to tune the top end, and I think it might need injector cups or something with the injectors yet. Just little stuff. These moons got to come off, but we're getting there. So, and when we do some of these pieces in here, some of the welding and things like that, when we get it off, I'll keep you guys updated or have Trevor fill you in on some of that. But it is somewhat frustrating that, you get a truck in like that, and shame on me, I should have looked closer at some of that. But it is, I will say, it's kind of hard to catch. You can just see that crack there. Some of those things are kind of hard to see, especially when you have the fifth wheel on, you got all this other stuff on. But thankfully, I think we can fix some of that stuff up, and it's not like an engine. If an engine went, that would be a lot worse. Or even any of these gliders that I got, that white one from Texas, or the black one, or the green one. You spend all that money, and then you got an engine. I'd all day long rather fix up suspension, little stuff like this, than have an engine that I have to rebuild right after I buy the truck. Now that I say that, is that ever going to happen? Probably. It's a very high risk buying these used trucks with these miles on. I mean, and they say, oh yeah, rebuilt them 100,000 miles ago, whatever, but you just don't know. You just don't know. One thing is though, is I'm still excited about this truck. I know it can get frustrating, but it's not worth getting upset over. We can easily fix some of these things up. I'm not going to lose sleep at night on this truck. you know, sometimes it's frustrating or it's hard to talk about, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. We're gonna fix it up, and I know the guys will do a fantastic job on it, and eventually this truck will be rolling down the road looking pretty good. We're going to also paint the hood right away. We're gonna pop that off, paint the hood, just because the paint is coming off on the other side, and it'd be much better off if we just get it painted now, and then we can also fix this as well. But with the paint starting to come off, I don't like that, and we'll get it painted. Shouldn't be too bad. Get the hood painted and back on, and this will be a good truck going down the road. We actually took the pipes off of this truck. We have new pipes ordered for the black truck, the black glider that is getting ready. I think that's going to go out today or tomorrow. We put these pipes on that truck just because we ordered pipes for that truck, like this, right, for that truck, and they're like still 4 to 6 weeks out, and this was like weeks ago that we ordered it. So it's a long time in coming and getting some of these parts. So they're coming, just gonna take time. So till those pipes get here, we can always put those pipes on this truck. That's kind of the thought process. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. That's how it goes when you buy day cab used Peterbilt. No, it's not that bad. Morning, Tyler.
Morning.
All right, new bumper coming. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. Just gonna need a little work, but it'll get fitting in our fleet pretty good. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.